would you be open to having just like 2 or 3 top tier battle rappers just sit with you for a month
To do
and
what?
just kind of like coach you into what it is today? You know what I'm saying? In a way that I don't think Michael Jordan, well, not necessarily
I'll
Michael
help you
Jordan.
out. I got you.
I don't think I need help.
No, I'm fucking.
No, I mean,
I don't think you need help.
hold on.
Don't get
I
beside
don't
yourself,
think
man.
you
We got
Hold on.
40
Hold
Cal
on.
coming back.
Hold on.
Ill Will.
We done seen Cassidy come.
listen.
I'm just saying the same way. Look.
Hey.
We do it
brother.
amongst ourselves.
Brother, let's have a
You feel what I'm saying?
Let's have a realistic conversation.
Let's
go.
have a realistic conversation.
All right. First of all,
Right.
no disrespect to anybody.
Right.
Do not compare me to anybody.
Okay.
I like that.
I don't give Don't compare me
wanna
to
hear
anybody.
that. He don't want to hear that.
That's
All right, that's first of all.
Right.
If I come, I'm coming for blood.
Right.
Good.
I ain't coming because I need a check. I ain't coming because I woke up feeling I'm coming. I'm gonna take it serious, and I'm taking
Right.
heads off.
But would you be comfortable with?
I
Top tiers around
wouldn't
you.
need that.
Matt feels like
You the one I'm battling when I'm coming.
I agree with you. And you ain't gonna have no top tiers around you. I guarantee you battle me. They're gonna be calling you up and like, oh, shit, well, they just, man, let me tell you something, man.
I kick the door off, take the hinges with the door panel and the wall off. Bodies getting hauled off, limbs getting torn off, leg him with the sword off. He looking like a walking dead zombie trying to crawl off.
All right, we back.
episode 37.
Episode 37. I tried to find a way where that could correlate with the numbers that we dealing with today, but
7 is the God number.
yeah, that's okay.
3.
Three hosts, 3 wise men,
Plus
and then yeah, that's where
And
it
God
kinda
Carry the
stops right
one.
there. It kind of stops right there. All right, as usual, salute to the subscribers. Salute to the new subscribers. If you want to be a guest on the show, hit myexpertopinionpodcast@gmail.com. If you want the promo, hit meopromo@gmail.com. And of course, I got the king in the building.
Miss
King with a Q, for you guys that have been saying a lot about that.
Oh yeah, King with a Q. Q-I-N-G.
Shout out to my man Kino, he's in the building. We got the family in the building. Knowledge Born, what's the science?
2310 Second Ave.
Yeah.
Harlem Cuts. Y'all know what it is. We here.
I'm sorry, Cal.
That's all right.
I'm sorry. 2310 Second Avenue. Harlem Cuts, come in and you mention any of the guests, you get a percentage off of your haircut. Today,
Yes, sir.
today's a big day, man.
Yeah.
Today's a big day. Okay.
man.
Damn. Where do I start this at? Legendary lyricist, Detroit pioneer, somebody who in the underground scene, like I was like searching all the time, like where these guys at? Where can I find their music? Because I used to listen to Future Flavors, Stretch and Bobito. I used to catch all these new monsters that were emerging from all over the world. And today we got one of them. Detroit legend, Royce the 5'9" is in there.
Let's get it.
Brother. What's up? It's an honor. It's an honor and a privilege to
Yes,
be here.
thank you.
Thank you.
I can tell by the suit. It's an honor and a privilege. We were talking before this started. The suits.
Mm-hmm.
What's the science?
I've been wearing them. This is my 20th year in, and it's not to be taken lightly that people are still listening to what I gotta say.
Right.
Still interested to hear what I gotta say.
20 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Still interested in sitting down and talking to me. I just appreciate it. So I dress like this to let you know that I take it serious, and it's an honor and a privilege.
That's dope.
And also to send a message to the youth that it's okay to mature and it's okay to grow older.
Right.
Like a lot of the older guys, like just because of the way that things are being marketed to people,
Right.
a lot of the older guys think that you have to stay young. And I personally feel like the younger that they try to look, the older they look. So
Absolutely.
it's cool to be an adult. You know, it's cool to talk about the things that inspire you. It's okay that you're not making a connection with 12-year-olds. That's not a bad thing necessarily, as long as you're connecting with somebody and you're moving in a positive direction. And two, you know, we practitioners, Mav, you know what I mean? You gotta dress the part. You gotta let the people know that you take it seriously.
Yeah, well, you know, I got my little.
It's an honor to be here. So
I got my own little suit on.
yeah.
You
being a boss right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is.
I see you.
I was waiting for Knowledge to say something about that.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, hey, they do your thing, man. Listen, we out here.
Now, do you find like, okay, because what you're saying is actually true. There were a lot of rappers who tried to constantly reinvent themselves and try to appeal more to the younger audience because they felt like they were getting old. And rather than becoming who they are, as far as like, okay, I'm at this age. What I rapped about 10 years ago, it's not what I'm doing now. Let me just put you up to date on what I'm doing now and put it in my music because, you know, my fans are growing with me.
It's
Why
better,
do you think
to
it
live
is?
in your center.
Why do you think that is that these guys are fighting Father Time so much? Like,
It's a narrative it's just floating around, you know what I mean? And one of the crazy parts of that narrative is like if I'm young and I want to insult somebody that's older, just be like, you old. You know what I mean? Yeah. So automatically that gets taken as the older you get, you're either running out of time or, you know, I've seen people lie about their age. And I just find in my experiences, man, like living in the center of your truth is the best place for you to be. You know what I mean? It's just like what you're doing musically is gonna come more natural. And then, you know, the more natural it feels to you, the better the chances of it resonating, the quicker it's gonna resonate, you know what I mean? Because it's coming from a truthful place.
right.
That's why people say you can only fake it but so long. And the truth is gonna always come out, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like you turning up an hourglass upside down, you know what I mean? You're running out of time. Eventually, whoever you are,
it's gonna come.
it's gonna show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And depending on how big the lie is how catastrophic that's gonna affect you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's better to just get it right the first time and just be natural.
Right. Have you ever seen that actually happen with a rapper, where eventually the truth came out?
I don't want to say a rapper's name.
Yeah.
But let's use Milli Vanilli as an example.
I mean, you're into Milli Vanilli.
truth
Okay.
came out,
It's a
for
perfect
sure.
example.
For all
It
you
came out
guys,
in the worst way.
It's an extreme example, but it's the perfect
for all you
example.
guys who don't know who Milli Vanilli is, they were a group who eventually got exposed for not singing on any of their records.
Bro,
They were just
everybody
lip sync.
knows who Milli Vanilli is.
I
Like,
know
girl,
some
you
people
know
don't.
it,
You'd be
girl, you
surprised.
know it.
Everyone.
Man, I do a battle. I spit a Milli Vanilli bar. Nobody
That's
responds,
going a little
bro.
far.
Exactly, but you know what I'm saying. The example I would use is a Tekashi.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, you know, he's going through what he's going through.
Yeah.
His team is going through what they're going through. But it has come out that what you were portraying.
Yeah, it's looking
was
bad
not true.
right now, but you know, this is hip hop, so I'm gonna wait and see what happens when he gets out.
Right.
It may be something that may, you know, it may send the wrong message. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's,
How would you feel if he gets out and he's more successful?
I wouldn't feel
he
any
was.
type of way because I'm like, I never took it as, see, I don't listen to people and go, he's telling the truth. He got to be telling the truth. Sometimes I get that feeling from some people, so I connect to them in that way, but I don't necessarily look for that.
Right.
Even when I was growing up, if you know, like I like different people for different reasons. Certain people I like them for their flows. Certain people I like Razzcast. He made Nature of the Threat. He used big words. I was intrigued by that.
Yeah.
I didn't psychoanalyze him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just was. I was just a fan. You know what I mean? Like, I think now the kids are just thinking more, just because you can judge everything in real time. You know, you can leave in the comment section. So everybody's analyzing. Everybody's being a, you know, psychiatrist, psychologist. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's just entertainment. You know, the things that is supposed to be taboo for you to be in hip hop, guys have actually been exposed as being that and continue with their careers.
Yeah, it don't matter, I don't think, to the youth.
Yeah, people are open to be entertained in many ways now, you know, so I think it's time for people to just lighten up, you know, like.
So what are the top 5 hip hop Taboos. Anybody ever thought about that? Like, what's the top 5? I mean, I remember back in the days, and forgive me if I use the wrong word, homosexuality was an issue.
Yeah.
Being fake, not really being street,
Authentic.
but
Not writing your rhymes.
fake gangster, being CB4.
Not writing your
writing your
rhymes.
rhymes. That was number 3.
People still get a little flack for that.
People still
But
get
I
it,
feel
but
like they're
not
trying
as
to,
much.
they're getting out of, they're getting out of it though.
Right.
It depends on who it is.
Yeah. And
Give me a number 4. What was number 4?
stuff that that was not rocking before that it is now.
Biting style.
Yeah.
Biting styles. Okay.
And now, yeah, it's all prevalent now.
Wu-Tang used to beat up for biting styles.
Yeah, they didn't like that.
To straight up beat up.
Yeah, and they also used to roll like 50 deep.
Now to be like, you bite my style, yes.
Yeah, they called out Biggie for taking Nas album cover. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that, but we still need a number 5.
I guess maybe fashion.
You could.
Fashion?
Like it wasn't cool to wear dresses. Dudes was wearing
you know what?
dresses now.
Being white.
I know why. Hold on.
white?
You couldn't lose a fight. Especially not on camera. There could not be footage of you losing a fight. Like getting knocked out or something.
Yeah.
Getting stumped or something like that. Or getting robbed or something like that.
Yeah.
That can
Being
happen.
exposed.
Being
Yeah, being exposed. There you go.
Because you look at
exposed.
50 and Ja Rule situation when he came in and kind of, you're not real, you're a wankster, and
And
I'm
then
the real thing.
But there was no actual footage.
even though he made you believe and turned a lot of people against Ja Rule off of that.
So not living your raps, but
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah, I guess that goes with.
yeah.
Okay, so
being true to
let's
yourself.
address these. Homosexuality, does that still stand?
I don't
In
know.
hip
So.
hop?
Absolutely not.
Not at all, right?
Absolutely not.
I
That never
mean-
should have been a thing.
That's out the
I
window.
don't think
Yeah,
that's
Young
a
M.A.
thing.
shows that, yo,
I mean, shit, I think
be
it's
popping.
I think it's harder for men though. I think I mean,
Lil
granted,
Nas X.
it's hard because that's why
He just dropped a song with Nas.
But he admitted it after he got on.
Yeah.
So it's not like he
But
came
it
out
didn't
like,
kill his
hey,
career, though.
I'm a
Right.
because now he has the support
He
of
probably
LGBT
gained more traction
community.
off of that.
You don't think that he could have been out of the closet prior to his career, but he just didn't let the world know? You think he
I
was
mean,
keeping it a
I
secret?
mean,
I think
possibly
being
the
that he-
people in his circle, yes.
right.
But like, I don't think he was going to like radio stations like, "Hey, I'm
Yeah,
homosexual."
he didn't pop up like, hey, I'm
And,
homosexual,
But
listen to my record.
yeah,
I still feel like you
I'ma
can't
tell
be a
you
gangster
why.
rapper though. You still can't be considered a gangster rapper and be gay. Oh, okay, so I guess I'm wrong.
But he
He
said,
said Young Thug, you
Apparently,
got
right? But
Nah, you're right.
Right.
I feel like
I'm wrong.
if he would have put that out there first, we would have got a different interpretation of what his record meant.
You talking about Nas X?
Absolutely.
Lil Nas
Yes.
X?
Yes, I'm gonna
Yeah,
take
of
my
course.
horse down the Old Town Road.
Yeah.
I'm a ride. It might have been taken the wrong way. You feel what I'm saying? And people would have been like, "Wait a minute." Okay, but that's out the window now. We can
Yeah,
say,
I mean-
"Look, be yourself."
I think the world, especially America, I think we're in a more mature place when it comes to that. I think people are starting to the
LGBTQ.
The
LGBTQ.
I call them the alphabet boys.
Listen.
LGBTQI.
I now?
They can't.
I.
Mm-hmm.
What's the I?
Intersexual? Don't quote me.
I was about to say for it, don't.
I think it's intersexual. if
Yeah,
I'm
they
not-
didn't know they had an I.
They came together as a collective and showed you what you can achieve
with unity.
through unity.
Absolutely.
Right.
They flew their flag and they commanded their respect.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So there's certain things that they won't stand for. And shit, that's what it is. I
Yeah.
respect it. I respect it. I think black people should do that.
Correct.
I agree with that. Okay, so that's out the window. We said, what was the
Writing?
second? No,
Writing
the
fake?
second was being fake.
Okay, being fake.
Before
Yeah,
you had
fake.
to live in raps.
I feel like you
It's
could be
much
fake
more
and come
easy.
and still do your thing.
Yeah.
I
correct,
feel
correct.
like people was getting away with that when that was the stigma.
Somebody fake probably came up with that stigma.
Good point. Good
It wasn't so
point.
blatant, I guess,
Right.
maybe before.
But at this point, going back to the Tekashi situation, will it matter when he comes out of jail?
I don't think so.
It won't.
It won't.
And he can rap about the same things, can't he?
And I seen
Why not?
I seen 50 say something like, yo, he has like one of the biggest backings when it comes to music. Like he has a big time backing. So when he comes back, he's gonna have all the marketing dollars to make sure he blows up.
Right.
And the people they're marketing to is Middle America. Middle America don't think it's wrong for you to tell the cops what's going on if somebody's gonna kill your family and things like that.
They're intrigued. They're intrigued by our lifestyle and the things that we glorify.
Right.
And it's fun to watch when you don't have to live it.
Right.
And it's not in your living room. And that person is not dating your daughter. It's fun to watch.
Right.
And that's kind of the effect that I feel like hip hop has had on America and now the world. You know what I mean? So I think it's just a entertainment on demand now.
I actually liked some
But
of his
we
records. That's
call
the
it
bad part.
entertainment.
I liked some of his records.
Talented.
But we call it entertainment, but then you got to think about the families of the people who went down with it.
Like the real
We got to think about the families.
That's not entertainment to me.
Nah, they doing years.
Right.
People are going from their families. Yeah, that's real.
We'll see what happens.
Every man is responsible for their own, though. You know what I'm saying? They was living that lifestyle in real life, and put themselves in a position for someone to rat on them. You can't really take a kid that has nothing to do with the hood. He's a little baby So
I want to see hip hop get to a place where it's really actually an escape
From the
yeah.
You know what I mean? This is supposed to be our way out. You know what I mean? Like like the shit that happened with Nipsey, we were just talking about. You know, the fact that it happened on camera, we were able to see it. What that does is it makes the artists feel like that we can't. It makes us afraid to be of the people.
Yeah.
Right.
And how could we not? How could we be anything other than of the people? Like, how can I be afraid to stand outside of my own store and talk to somebody, shake somebody's hand? Or why should I feel worried or paranoid or feel like there's a possibility that something could happen? Like, it's just the atmosphere that we created needs to change.
And rest in peace to Pop Smoke, who recently passed away last week. And same situation. He's out there, available. People are able to get to him.
Hollywood.
He's in Hollywood.
Which is very available,
But I'm saying, like, you know, he's having a party. His information is out. You know where you can get to him.
Right.
And for him to just feel comfortable, like, yo, why can't I just enjoy myself, enjoy the success I'm having?
We still don't know 100% what that was over.
No, we don't know what it's over, but we still know he was there. He was available. People were near him. He had his information out there, a party, things like that. So people were able to get in contact with him. So you can't be that young and enjoy yourself, have a success, and then for people to come take you away like that, that's still like...
But also still be living what you rapping, too.
We in like...
Hey.
Sometimes it's our own people that
Once
are
upon a
envious
time-
of us, too.
Yeah,
So it
that-
sucks,
all
right?
that shit.
Once upon a time, I was,
Yeah.
one of those guys watching, just feeling like, damn, they're getting it over there.
It sucks.
It's a terrible feeling to feel like you have to cross your brother to get up. But it's even worse feeling seeing it happen. You know?
What changed your perspective?
You got a pork chop. He's right about
You
that.
gotta play the food.
He's right about that.
He like, I don't need the pork chops
No,
no
to be
more.
honest, what changed my perception is while I was in the midst of doing these things, my friend, rest in peace, YB, he was somebody tried to rob him. And of course, being who he was having it. And we lost him because of that. And that kind of put me in perspective, like, whoa. This is
Hey,
like
listen.
the other side of the mirror, you know?
And as black men, our perspective changes
Right.
more and more the more we grow. We have like spiritual awakenings, whether we want to pay attention to them or not. We're going to always get to that place. If you live long enough, you're going to get to that place where you look at everything and you go, damn, never was about that.
Yeah, right.
Never was about being a tough guy. Never was about all
Who
this
said that?
time. I
Was it
thought it was
Royce
about
song?
that.
Who said evolution is consciousness?
The evolution of
A gangster's evolution is consciousness.
Correct.
Now here's a tough question. Would Nipsey still be here if he didn't have the gang affiliation?
That's only tough for me to answer because I would need to know details in order to intelligently answer that.
Right.
You know, I think that's something you don't want to be presumptuous about.
Yeah.
Not at all. But we do have to, it is something that we have to address because it seems like nowadays, because of the success of certain people, a lot of kids feel like I'm not a complete rapper unless I got a set to rap.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's kind of a.
And I see it a lot out here.
It's kind of an add-on to what we were saying. You know, it's kind of like you can be whatever it is that you are at a certain age, as long as that your level of consciousness elevates and you somehow are able to turn it into something, a positive.
Right.
You can't call Jay-Z a drug dealer no more.
Not at all.
Can't even call him a previous drug dealer no more.
But can you shake his hand if you a snitch?
Can you shake his hand if you a snitch?
Yeah, that's the question.
Oh, you saying?
You understand what I'm
The
saying?
correlation between that and the
Right.
Nipsey thing.
I mean, he's living a different lifestyle, so are those rules still applying?
I just think that for us, we need to figure it out.
Because is it a different type of mentality? Like, I'm sure snitching goes beyond just streets and stuff like that. I'm sure Trump was mad at the dude who basically started talking about, dealings they had and labeled him like a snitch or whatever. Like, yo, you know what? He's getting shunned. So, I mean, it all depends.
Because I'm pretty sure the corporate people who he is involved with would snitch on someone. Like, hey, that guy has a gun.
Right, but we're talking about a known snitch in the streets to where this information would get to someone and be like, okay, nah, he's telling. Don't associate yourself.
Honestly, in my opinion, I don't even think Jay-Z's like thinking about that. I don't think he would say,
If it makes
I'm not
money,
gonna shake
if
your
it makes
hand.
sense and it's business, I don't think so.
I don't think he would. Like, it's just so much other shit in the world.
I feel you.
Like,
I feel you.
it's like, hey, he's a snitch. Man. You know?
But you gotta acknowledge like the Tekashi. And if you're okay with this, are you okay with what happened to Nipsey? You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Wait, maybe I'm missing the correlation.
We can come back to that. Miss
Like-
Keith. Don't worry about it. We still got a couple more fingers to go.
Snitches equal how he died?
He was killed by someone who was accused of being an informant.
Correct.
That was the supposed story.
And
But
the
yeah,
friction
that was the-
between them
that was-
started with the, no, I heard.
You're a snitch,
You're a
so
snitch.
yeah,
Right.
you're not good.
In the hood.
That was the story.
So how do we weigh that out?
That was one of
Is
the
that just as bad as who's selling dope in his own hood? Like, what makes sell dope?
Because there's a choice. There's a choice. Where there's choice, there are no victims. If you make the choice to smoke dope, you're not a victim.
Okay, what about, so let's look at it like this. If you a snitch, if you're an informant for the government, you're a snitch, right?
Right.
But you're selling the dope the government put there. You're still an informant.
But we talking about snitching. I'm against the snitching.
But
I'm not gonna say I'm not against the selling dope, but
I'm just saying
we can't be hypocritical. If you pop in an Advil, you're kind of okay with the whole situation too.
I mean, it all destroyed our neighborhood.
Right.
Like, at some point, if you're a reformed drug dealer, then you're expecting somebody to forgive you for your past sins.
True.
If you're a reformed snitch,
How does that work?
ain't none of it right.
None of it right.
But who are we to judge? If there's a level of repentance for it.
Right.
If you
I
did
mean,
some shit-
it's all perspective, man. It's like it's all about your dealings with said situation. You know, that's like the way me and Mav look at the way a rapper uses certain techniques may be different from somebody who never wrote a rap before. You know,
Right.
we're more delved into it. We prioritize different when it comes to that. When people don't connect syllables, I listen to it that way. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Connecting the same syllable scheme through his whole verse, I'm gonna appreciate it more than somebody who never wrote a
Right.
rap.
And to answer whether you think Jay-Z would care or not, look up a guy named DeHaven. Now, number 3, biting.
Biting.
Is that cool? Is that cool now?
People used to say Biggie was a biter.
No, not biting, not writing your own lyrics. That's where we was at.
Okay, writing your own
Drake
lyrics.
gets away with it.
It's more than just Drake.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sure,
It's a lot of people.
Yeah, I seen Drake say that too. Drake said everybody come at me for
Right.
it.
Yeah,
But
I
there's a
think-
lot of guys in the game right now that is not writing their own lyrics.
I agree with
Well,
that.
well
And that
being,
helps
I'm
with
not in the
songs.
industry,
No, I'm
so
just
I
saying,
can't.
you know.
But Royce, is there anybody you ever that you were in a session with? Have you ever been in a session with an artist and you looked over and you noticed someone else was pushing the pen and went, "Whoa, I didn't expect that."
No, I
Never.
don't have no stories like that.
Right.
But you know, I don't look down on it as long as it's not being hidden.
Okay.
You know, as long as it's not like a secret, because there's
Right.
nothing.
Ghost
There's no
writer.
need to keep it a secret. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if that's your process, that's your process.
Right.
Whatever it takes to come out with good music. You know, but if you're not writing and then you're still expecting the same flowers as somebody who been racking their brain for a year coming up with their album,
Right.
that's not fair. Doesn't mean you can't still be great.
Right. But you can't be the best
MC.
MC. I remember back in the days when you bought an album, one of the things that I missed that I feel like we don't do anymore is check the credits.
Yeah.
Everybody used to check the credits and try to figure out. Right. You okay, I know that's his name. Who's this guy right next to
Yeah.
him? Who's that? Who's that? You would see like a Wu-Tang song was one person on it, but you would see more names and be like,
Yeah.
oh, Ghost had something to do with this. Oh, I think Method Man wrote the hook. You know, that's something that was important to
Shit,
know.
on the NWA albums, you know, when they had the lyrics transcribed,
Ice Cube was on that shit.
Do we not respect Biz Marquis?
Right, Big Daddy Kane.
See that right, Walk This Way?
Right.
Aerosmith song.
Right.
who wrote that?
It's Aerosmith, the whole
Aerosmith, yeah.
song.
Aerosmith wrote
Yeah.
the raps?
It's not raps. It was
They took the lyrics and
But he's talking about their lyrics though was their own lyrics.
No.
Oh.
He wrote the
All of
song.
that is Aerosmith.
Oh, all of
They
it,
didn't
even
say
with them
anything.
rapping
They
what they
just
were
rapped
rapping?
What he said.
for real?
Yes, listen, Walk This Way is Aerosmith.
The original, yeah.
It's the same song. They said
They just performed that too.
Math is like,
Yeah, but whoever
learn something new every
whoever's
day.
idea that was
Yeah.
was Rick Rubin's idea. So he probably got writer's credit for that.
no, it's the same song. If you play the songs,
What I'm saying
Aerosmith
is
is
the
great.
idea
Yeah, it
was to
was.
rap what they said, probably got writer's credit for that.
Right.
maybe publishing, not writer's credit. You can
Why
get-
the f not?
Because you didn't change, you gotta change lyrics for writer's credit. You can get publishing.
But it is changed. The lyrics are
No,
changed.
the lyrics are the exact same lyrics.
If they're rapping them instead of singing them, that's something different. That's just like that's just
Publishing, that's not right. If you say walk down the street, tapping my feet, and I sing that, those are still your lyrics. I can claim publishing, but I can't claim writers. You have to change words for writers.
dog. Then why did Mary get writer's credit on the Dre song?
She may have changed something.
She didn't change nothing.
Keno, I'm gonna need you to speak up because we all mic'd up.
Then it's publishing. Writer's credit is publishing. She's credited as a writer for publishing.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I just said.
They get the credit.
But that's a publishing thing. You're not credited as a writer. It's a publishing thing.
Oh, okay.
So that's just to say who they need to pay for that percentage of that song.
Right.
They're not claiming.
And that's
that
what we was
as a
talking about.
So, okay. So we're good on people getting ghostwriters, right?
I
This is
mean,
not it's not a thing. You just can't expect to be the #1 MC doing that.
You're not the #1 MC.
Exactly. Okay.
so what, would you refuse a hit? Even if like, you know.
Yeah, if Drake came to you and was like, yo, I
yo,
got
this is
record,
going to be the
perfect.
one, 150 million views on
Detroit
YouTube
all
once
the
we drop
way.
it.
If he came to who?
It came to you
Came
and it
to
was
you.
like, yo.
Nobody talks to
Came
me.
to
Nobody, listen, bro.
You're like, yo, Royce,
have a realistic
Royce, I'm a
conversation.
fan
Royce,
of you, and I
you're-
just thought this might go great.
I'm sure throughout your career,
You could do your
things
thing.
have happened that you
wouldn't
never
even-
saw coming.
Come on, guys.
Look,
Fairy dust. Fairy dust.
Drake's a very unpredictable guy. I've seen him and be like, what? What did you say? What? What did you just say? Like, you never know, bro.
No
Like,
one would ever ring my phone with such a thing.
Even if it was just business and about money, like, yo, we could
First
make
of
some
all-
real money doing this.
First
right
of all, a hit is very subjective, man.
here. Okay.
You
Right.
can never just because something sounds like a hit when it sounds like a reference, when it's a reference, doesn't mean that when you do it, it's gonna be a hit. You know what I mean? Just because it's a Drake song don't mean it's gonna be a hit. Just because it has a big over-the-top singing chorus on it, don't mean it's gonna be a hit. You just never know.
were there any things that you thought was a hit when you heard them? Not including, well, not necessarily your work, but anybody else's work that you was around, like, yo, this is gonna pop, and nothing happened.
And it didn't pop.
Yeah.
I thought that about my life, the Slaughterhouse joint, prior
Right.
to. Because I had just came off doing the Bad Meets Evil album, and we had Lighters, which was the #1 song that year. So I felt like it was the logical next step for us. And then I learned that when you release music, the fans can like the song, but if it's not what they want from you, it's not gonna work. So it being a good record doesn't even matter.
Right.
Because the album was good.
Right.
They said they liked the album.
Right.
People were like, we like the album. This is just not the album we want
we
from
want
you
from
guys.
you. Like 50 Cent doing a double time record.
Yeah, you just gotta know.
It's just not gonna hit the same way as Slow Flow 50.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Biting. Now in this new era, as far as original flows go, as soon as one comes out, there's like 3 follow-up records from different artists with the same thing. Why is this okay now?
It ain't always been like that.
I can't say no, not the way it is
You
now.
saying it's worse
It's like Jamaican records now, bro. Like how one of them would come out with a beat and a flow, and then there'd be like 5 other songs with the same thing going on.
All people need to see is some success, and like people are always gonna try and duplicate something that's successful.
Copy paste.
Right,
But that's not even in music.
Right.
That's period. You go to the supermarket, you see the leading brand, and then you see a whole bunch of shit just like it, all the way to the end of the
Yeah.
Cheerios and
Only difference is the price.
and the color. The same color on the box. O's, Cheerios.
It's
right
companies
there.
who they pay their bills, they keep the lights on, just
Fruity
off,
Circles.
just off bottom feed. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. So
you got the innovators, and then you have the people that just blend in.
right.
So
So
I do think
you-
I do, not to cut you off, brother. I do think it's problematic though in music for everybody to just copy everything that they see as successful, because that affects the overall art. And that's never good, because
Right.
like we watch genres of music just fade away, like rock and roll, we watch just go away.
Right.
That comes when it's not changing, when it's not evolving. So it's always somebody has to try to come and provide that balance. That's why I'm glad we got the Kendricks and Coles, people that just deliberately go left.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that Control verse is one of the greatest things that could happen to hip hop
Right.
at that time.
Right.
We needed somebody to draw their line in the sand, because people was too friendly. Like we gladiators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that attitude. We're gonna get back to that.
Biting, battle rap, guys bite, or people feel like people bite all the time, but y'all just say it's everybody's having the same genius type thoughts sometimes.
No.
No.
You mean
no.
like with certain punchlines?
Yeah,
or
like when you hear Matt say, you know what I'm saying, this type of line, and then next thing, like maybe it's a reference or a Pop Smoke or something.
It's biting, bro.
Where you hear everybody
biting.
saying the same thing.
It's biting. It's biting.
Or reference lines, I think too.
It's biting.
Where something just happened and we're gonna all hear
biting.
10 guys say that same reference, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit different, but it's all the same
But
thing.
like a current event. That's
Yeah,
why
current
I hate
event
current
bars, that's
event
what I mean.
rappers. Yeah, like I rarely use current event because I know the whole building is gonna have a
Whoever
same
rap
line.
first, they're gonna
See,
use that.
in that case, I can say no, it might not be a bite.
Okay.
But if I have a battle that's like 1 million views and you're a top tier battle rapper and you say the same line that I said,
Yeah.
come on.
We know. We always know.
Yo, I
We
never
can
saw
always
the
tell.
battle. Sure you
Let me ask you.
Yo, I tell you that's that crypto shit.
Have y'all ever done this? Have y'all ever been writing something and it's been something close to some current event type, but you just opt not to say it because you're just like, man, somebody
had to
Yeah.
say this, right?
I do that all the time. It's like, I'm not gonna even say it.
Who's your reference guy?
I won't even look it up. If it's something, if I think of a line and it's something, I say I'll look at a window of time. If it's something that's been in the ecosystem for a month,
Yeah.
somebody had that did that already. Come on,
Right.
a month?
Yeah.
But you'll pass on it?
I won't say it. I won't say it.
Even if it's fire.
Probably not usually like about to change the world. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But
It's probably just
still,
a line.
like,
Probably
but
just a line.
that shows your level of integrity. I like that.
Yeah, it's got to be some integrity there. It's got to be some integrity there. Plus, it's like we must remember our names is our name. That's all we got. You know what I mean? Like before money or anything, man. My name is my name. I can't have certain things on my name. I cannot have nobody running around saying that nigga he bit my.
Right.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
okay. So that's out
But
the
I've
window.
heard
So
like certain people say certain lines who are like real respected, but I look at it as sometimes like it's just paying homage. You know what I'm saying? Like when I seen Black Thought on the Benny song where he was like, still trying to cop rides like Great Adventure. I was like, he's That's just like that's Black Thought. He's never
He
Yeah,
couldn't.
but
He
doing
couldn't.
that.
He
That's
couldn't have
just-
took that from Biggie.
Yeah,
This is-
but see, Black Thought
Right.
is like he's on a certain level, so he understands the social responsibility that he has. So he knows that if you're gonna craft a line like that, you must do it in a way where it's understood
Right.
that you're paying homage.
Still.
You can't leave it up in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, I have my little brother just did like a cipher up in my studio, and one of the guys came in and said one of his lines from one of my mixtapes back in the day, word for word, like the whole line.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I'm telling you, he's paying homage, and he just like, man, I don't know.
Crazy.
So if you don't know, that means he
Yeah.
didn't nail it. He didn't,
Right.
he didn't
Yeah.
hit the target. If
Yeah.
that was his intent.
If that was his intent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I remember being in the hood and people rapping my whole verses in a cipher like it was theirs. That's when I knew I made it.
I was gonna say, how that make you feel?
Because people was calling me like, yo, we just kicked somebody off the stoop, bro. He was trying to kick your whole rap to us like it was. I was like, word, that's great.
You got some classic ones.
Yeah,
You got some classic
I'm
ones.
okay, I'm okay.
But who do you have to be to spit somebody's whole rap and feel good about it? Like what?
Who do you have to be to take someone's style?
Damn.
Or their whole flow? Or just the rhythm or the beat? Who do you have to be? Somebody that's just thirsty.
It's nuts.
Thirsty. I got a saying, when you're too thirsty, you don't drink, you drown. And that happens. I'm not gonna bring up artist names. We're gonna talk about that on another day. Number 4. No, that was biting.
that was-
Exposure. Exposure.
Like
Oh,
if you got
getting
robbed
exposed.
or something
Yeah.
that you couldn't make
That's
it
another
out.
big thing. But at this point, like we said, you know, you get exposed and still have a career.
Yeah.
People get exposed all the
sometimes
time.
the exposure backfire and make that person more interesting?
I think we're seeing that with Tekashi, right?
Well, we never really saw him exposed.
When he got
He didn't?
robbed, they had his chain and all that.
Tekashi?
Yeah, they took his little sword. They took his
His
you
jigsaw.
talking about the running around in the
He
hood?
got
Okay.
kidnapped, bro.
Yeah, he got
like-
kidnapped. But nobody put the
Like
footage
what?
out.
I just thought I'd let you know.
Nobody put the footage out. The footage came out after everybody was in
kidnapped.
jail.
There was audio
Bro,
of him
it was
getting robbed.
audio.
and him
Ain't
saying,
nobody, yo, look in the back seat.
But you hear
We
what
got him
he's
tied up
saying.
right now.
You
Nobody
hear what
did
he's
that.
saying. You get the whole audio.
yeah, but he was exposed, man.
Yeah, like OD.
Yeah, that's
Who really is that stupid? Did they actually rob somebody?
The-
Put it on Instagram and
there's
Facebook.
there's so many
I know it
people.
happens, but
There's so many people.
Bird had that run.
We got a battle rapper named Tay Rock that's going through
I
that
just don't understand.
right
What happened
now.
with Tay-Rock?
Somebody got his chain,
Oh,
and like Young Berg, it started to go on tour a little bit.
Oh,
It
this
was
is-
seen
this
here.
happened in New York?
It was seen there. No, this happened in Baltimore.
okay.
And fortunately, we got some OGs that made some phone calls and rectified the situation. But it happens. Now, will it affect Tay Rock his next battle?
I mean, he just gonna be, you know, it's lines that
I
can
don't
be made
think
about
so. You know why? Because I've seen crazy things come out before, and he gets on that stage and rocks the stage, and
mean,
the
shit,
crowd
he can
goes
go.
crazy.
It. He can go.
Through the allegations, through all of that, and he still had the fans going, yeah.
I don't think
So
that
to
should
me-
take away from his craft.
But that's what
That
I'm
could happen to
saying.
anybody.
That's what I'm saying. I
Somebody
don't
could
think-
come up in here with a gun and say,
I don't think the
"Everybody take it
fans
off."
care about what's going on in like your
That could
personal
happen
life
to
like that
anybody.
on that
But-
level.
but
at
it
this
has
time.
happened.
I think they care enough about it to comment on it, but I
Right.
don't think you guys are being held to the standard of having to be everything that y'all are rapping about.
Exactly.
Y'all picture painters. Y'all paint pictures.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, and it's like, it's a certain level of artistic, it's art. The gun bars.
Yes.
The gun bars, especially in the URL. The gun bars is like part of the art for URL.
Right.
You can't stand on the URL stage and not have a gun bar.
Right.
You're gonna go shoot somebody just
Headshot.
You can.
Headshot.
Pat Stay does his thing on the URL
Yeah,
stage.
that's true.
Yeah, but he's not a URL
Yeah.
battler. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I
So
mean,
he don't.
Yeah, and even Saga, who's a Christian rapper, still hits you with gun bars.
Yeah. Christian rappers and gun bars. How does that?
You know what I'm saying? Like
crazy.
that's real. You get gun bars from the Christian rappers.
Now,
so-
now, being somebody who's been through situations where people have tried to kind of put more information than the fans knew about on you to the public, whether it be females or other rappers.
Yeah.
Did you see an effect in your career
No, not that I could ever remember. I mean, you know, I'm my policy is I was who I was before I got here. You know what I mean? Like I think that kind of comes with the territory, but I don't think that you can ruin somebody's credibility that's just not trying to be anything but who they are. You know what I mean? Like, I never claimed to be the toughest guy in the world. I never claimed to be pretty much anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's always just been about the raps with me.
Right.
Never tried antics, never tried anything, because I'm not good at none of that. You know what I mean? Some people are good at just getting on their Instagram and making people laugh. Shit. That's cool too, if that's what you are. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's naturally them. Me, I get, as soon as the camera get in my face, I draw a blank. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do.
Say what?
You know, but if you put me in front of a mic, I'm at home. You know what I mean? It's what I do. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I just stick to that.
So these things, I feel like these things will probably give you more to write about.
Yeah, more life experiences. You know, I had a situation where a girl exposed me and she put me on media takeout, and that it put me in a situation where it was affecting my livelihood with my family.
Wow.
But so it was one of the things that made me decide to get sober. That was like the last thing. That was like the last straw.
Right.
What did she expose you about?
Well, I was messing with her. I was messing with her. I wanted to have a threesome with these girls. So I was drunk, and when I went to sleep, they were just taking pictures of me. And then she took some videos and shit, you know what I'm saying? So basically, to make a long story short, when it hit media takeout, it looked very bad. Because number one, just imagine having a wife and like her mom and everybody seeing
everybody
it.
seeing
Like,
it.
Your real life is now affected.
what is this guy doing out here? You know what I mean? Like,
Were you in the
That's
in a
crazy.
hotel just looking at your phone like, I don't even want to touch
I'm laying on the couch. I'm laying on the couch with baggy boxer shorts on. And shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just bad, bro. You know, it's those moments where you think to yourself like, okay, what kind of man am I? What do I want to be? How much have I dumbed myself down in this stupid ass business?
Right.
And I told myself early, like when I came into the game, I said, I'm leaving here with everything I came here with. That's wife included. You know what I mean? So. And the crazy about that is I had got caught doing so much shit. My wife wasn't even like mad or surprised. She was just like, you know, it just looked like you got karma. Karma's just coming for you.
Right.
And then the girl that I was messing with on the side was like cussing me out. Mad. What are you doing? Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, how the hell can I cheat on you? I'm cheating on her with you.
She's like, but ain't supposed to be no others.
It was at that moment that
Just
I knew
us.
that things were in disarray in life.
Yeah.
You know, so I needed to regain order.
Right.
How hard?
What,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So what were the steps and what was the outcome?
The first step was to stop drinking.
Right.
Because that was the common denominator to everything. You know, once I removed that from the equation, you know, the other steps, which there were a lot and I'm still taking them, easier to make. You know, like clicking on all cylinders 24/7. It makes things easier. Alert, you know what I'm saying? Judge a character is better. You know, I'm not so quick to invite in the crazies, you know, like
Anybody.
surrounding myself with this stupid ass energy, you know what I'm saying? Having more foresight, not allowing my name to be involved with stupid shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate stupid shit is just never good. I don't like the way it feel. I don't like
I
don't like going to war. I don't like, you know, like this beef lingering in the air. I don't have time for that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Going
So
to
it's-
war. That's so
Everybody
deep.
says like going to war.
Yeah,
I feel that way now. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
because
like,
you know when you're young, you go to that. Because
Yeah, you
you feel
turned
like you
up,
gotta
you're like, what?
you gotta stand up for yourself, and you feel like.
after a while, you're like,
And that's one of the things
This
I
ain't
was
worth
talking about
nothing.
earlier, bro. When I said, you know, you get to a point in life where you just reflect and you're like, damn, it never was about that. I could have avoided a whole lot of fucked up shit if I just had to just, you know, like. There were a lot of issues, things that I got into that I know I could have avoided. I know if I was sober, I would have knew how to talk to that person, or I would have knew how to handle myself in a way where we could deflect, or we could diffuse, or we could just get to a better place. And then to go even deeper than that, I'm extremely close to some people that I had issues with back in the day.
right.
And if I had to close the door on getting to know these people, or just the opportunity of getting to know them, the side of them that I didn't know existed from before, then I just would have missed out on, you know, great relationship.
Right.
You know, so now, you know, when I come across people, I don't come across many people that I want to hold on to, but the people that I have in my life that I feel like are great people who showed me that with their actions, I hold on to them. I don't treat people, you know, in this business, people treat people like they're just disposable. You know, people just stick people in the trash for whatever. I'm cutting him off. I'm blackballing him. I'm not ever working with him again. I don't do none of that punk shit. It's whole shit.
Right.
I feel like that all of us, artists, whatever, I don't like when separate us, battle rappers and artists. We all a collective.
That's a fact.
We all a collective because all of them, they come together and they create all kinds of standards. And they're not standards to elevate us.
Yeah.
None of the things that they're doing is to elevate us.
Nope.
Right.
They don't place value on us. We got to place that on ourselves. And we're more valuable as a collective.
If anything, they trapping y'all more, so y'all can work for them more.
Brother, think about it like this. Imagine if all of y'all got together, and this is nothing against Smack. This is no respect, no disrespect. If y'all came together and said, listen, Smack, from now on, it needs to be standard that us battle rappers get blah, 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 blah. He wouldn't have a choice.
Not at all.
It's either go out of business or adhere to the demands.
But see, the unfortunate side of that is there are people who might not have had the same opportunities as us that will take the lower standard to have it.
Yeah. But I mean, and you know, that's you know, divide and conquer, bro. I mean, it's the same thing going on in the music business, you know, same thing going on in the NFL, same thing going on in the NBA. But at the end of the day, one thing that's gonna always be the case is that the players, the rappers, all of us, we are the ones who generate 100% of the proceeds.
Right.
So if you think of anything else, if you think of the dope game, this shit would be unacceptable in the dope game. It'd be unacceptable.
And we put a stop to that real quick.
It's only here where there's an opportunity to accumulate fame that people become accepting.
Right.
Maybe a little bit too accepting.
Just to be popular.
Yeah. So and another problem with being so accepting is that we're not thinking about the way it affects the next generation. It's a cycle repeating, and it just repeats. Don't think for 1 second that these executives ain't prepping their kids to be executives.
Right.
Correct.
And don't think for 1 second that you're not setting an example to somebody who's watching, trying to learn from you right now.
Yeah.
So is this the mindset that you went into this album, Allegory, with?
Yeah, I was in this mind frame, but I wasn't actually thinking to myself, okay, I'm gonna make an album about everything that I just said. But I mean, every album that I make is indicative of where I am mentally at the time. And then right now it's just information is a big deal to me. Perspective is a big deal to me. It's an important thing to me. I'm intrigued by it. And I feel like it's time. It's time for some of the narrative to change. It's time for people to start taking steps. When I say people, I mean artists, people with anybody that has a platform. And it's time for us to know our value. You know what I mean? Like, the value system is just off. You know, because I think we just kind of like, we sit around and we wait on people to place the value on us.
Right.
You talking about investors and like that, they're never gonna do that. That's not in the best interest of business to do that. It's not their job to build your brand. It's not in their best interest to do any of that. That's not their concern. Yeah. So you got to think about you. So the best position to be in is just in a position where you have information. So, you know, automatically you got to kind of listen to the OGs, and it's not just on the youngins. It's an obligation for the OGs.
OGs, definitely.
It's not. You don't get to just you don't just get to like come in this shit, eat and take your ball and go home.
Right.
Nah,
I feel like for a little while we lost the OGs.
Yeah.
In rap, and hip hop.
We don't have them now. I don't think that we have them now, like to the degree that we need them. I think Jay-Z is one. I think he's somebody who's leading by example. You know.
Do you see yourself as one?
Yeah, and I think I'm getting better. I think as time progresses, the more important that I see it being, I'm applying more action to the words now. It was just a focus on my city, but I realized it's got to be that and everything else too.
And everything else.
Yeah.
How about your brother Joe Buttons? I remember when he was here, he talked about kind of the same thing. Like, I may not be actively trying to sign dudes or be a label, but I'm giving them the game. Like, yo, I can't be out here just.
It's a passion. And when you think about it from that sense, it's got to be done your way. If it's your passion, it's got to be done your way. There's no blueprint. You know, like everybody's not cut out to be an executive and sign people. Yo, man, if that's not what you cut out to do and you just out here signing people, you're not helping.
Yeah, it's a disservice.
Up, you know what I'm saying? Because you got young artists in limbo and while you working on your you just got them sitting. And that's one thing I'm learning too. I got aspirations of being an executive at some point, but I also know I'm not that good of a multitasker. And I know that I'm still in love with the art of writing raps and rapping. So I don't want to like bite off more than I can chew and start signing up a bunch of people while I know that I'm going to give myself more attention.
Right.
I don't think that's fair.
But in the meantime, like artists on the come up like T Grizzly. Do you guys communicate?
Nah, I don't really communicate with T Grizzly, but I support
Gave him a shout out on the album.
Yeah, I support him. I support him. I respect him.
But that's another young artist on the come up who's probably looking for that type of guidance too, right?
Well, if he's looking for that kind of guidance, he know where to come. He know where to come. I can't shoot it at him. You know what I'm saying? Like I reached out to him before.
Okay. So one of y'all just clip that and send it to T Grizzly so he know who to holler at from now on. Make sure you know.
The Project Allegory, man, listening to it, like definitely an eye opener. You definitely went, you know, like real deep when it came to the information, to just, you know, black consciousness and everything like that. How long have you been dealing with these thoughts and made you want to actually really focus on that?
I don't know if I can put a time on it, but let's just say it's a continual thing. It's a progression. You know, like my last album, Book of Ryan, is my self-defining album. I knew exactly what I wanted it to be. Thank you, bro. I knew exactly what I wanted it to be prior to going into it. You know, so my level of consciousness has been elevating the whole time. You know, I read something recently, man. I don't even know if you know this, Keno. I read something recently that said that they used to give people alcohol to lower their consciousness, lower their levels of consciousness. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
So
that
explains
is a real thing.
That explains a lot. That explains a lot because when I stopped drinking, I mean, I think I had at least two or three spiritual awakenings. At least 2 or 3.
Like what kind of spiritual awakenings?
I mean, one day you seeing something one way, and then the next day you seeing it a different way. You know what I mean? You wake up one day and you just like, hey, wait a minute.
Day.
Yeah.
You may think about some shit like, it's like you figured it out.
Yeah.
Looking at something in retrospect, you just figured it out of nowhere. And it's like, holy shit. And then it takes you somewhere else. It takes you to another thought, and then another. It's like going down a rabbit hole within your own brain. But
sounds like a blunt and sour for me.
But that's exactly what happened when the day that I woke up and decided that I was gonna stop drinking. It was an overwhelming feeling. It was just like I felt like if I didn't go with this feeling, something bad was gonna happen.
Yeah.
It came over me like it's time.
Right.
And you know, I'm a universe hippie, so you know, like. I usually try to listen, you know, to the universe, but that particular moment was just like, and I know it was something spiritual because when I started calling people and telling them that I was gonna stop, I like broke down into tears. It was like emotion that I couldn't control.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I seen on No Jumper interview with Adam. You said Dr. Dre gave you your first drink at 21. How long were you from there? Did you realize like, yo, this is a problem for me now? You know what I'm saying? Was it a long time, or did you just like you're casually just doing it for fun?
It took
21.
Took some time.
No, I'm just saying. You know,
Took some time,
everybody's
bro.
rocking at 21, just having some fun. But when did you realize like, yeah, this is a problem for me?
It took some time. I took some time, you know, because I had to have my fun. I had to go through denial. You got to go through it all. You know, like you got to get in some trouble, crash some cars.
You got to hit the bottom.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to hit the bottom and just be like, whoa, how'd I get down here?
Listen, the first thing that happened to me that resonated, and I still denied it to myself. I crashed my car. It was the first car I ever bought for myself, but I was driving and I had my foot on the pedal and I was just coasting and I just blacked out behind the wheel. And thank God I took my foot off the pedal, I guess, when I blacked out. So I just coasted into a pole doing about maybe 15, 20 miles an hour.
Okay.
And then I come to with as a police officer flashing the flashlight on me, like, hey, you okay in there? And I looked up like, yeah, I think I'm okay. And the windshield was smashed going outward, and pieces of thread from my baseball cap was in the cracks, which let me know that I had hit my head on the windshield, but I felt fine. So he was like, you want to go to the hospital? I was like, nah, I don't want to go to the hospital. So he pulled me out the car and started making me do field sobriety. So he asked me to say my ABCs, and I sang them. And that motherfucker let me get all the way to Z.
Wait. Hold on.
A, B, C, D. You know the ABCs.
And then you said, next time, won't you sing with me and all that?
Huh?
Next time, won't you sing with me?
There you go. He let me get all.
You finished. You didn't finish with the.
Absolutely.
Now I know my age. You didn't do that. You didn't.
It's only right. And then he let me finish. And then he arrested me.
Yeah, he said,
Turn around and put your hands on the car.
he said, yeah, he's done.
So that was one.
Hilarious.
That was the first.
That was the first.
Damn.
And there needed to be another one after this.
Oh, there were plenty after that.
Wow. So
Listen,
ABC song.
that
was
happened. I went to jail for a year for drinking and driving, bro. Right in the middle of my career. Smack dab in the middle of my career. You didn't know that?
I didn't.
You don't remember?
I didn't know
going to
what it
jail?
was for.
Oh, you didn't know what it was for? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was for drinking and driving.
A whole year? Just
A year.
Damn, I didn't even know they locked you up for like this.
Yeah.
I mean, for that much time? That's crazy.
Yeah.
They had you blowing in the car and all of that stuff too?
Pause. Stop.
I mean, you know, blowing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, man.
Me too.
Why did you say in New York, boy?
Nah, because the breathalyzer in the car and all of that.
know
Can't
what
get
you
away with it.
Yeah, you know, man.
It's just a game, man.
Yeah,
it's just
all,
a game.
everything. I've done.
Damn,
I've
that's
done all.
crazy. Because for the first time, I seen a friend who had to do that, and I'm like, yo, every time you get in the car, you
You got to do that for a year.
just to get the car to start.
If you get a certain amount of DUIs, that's standard in Michigan. You have to do that for a year before you can be eligible to get your driver's license. I still don't have a driver's license.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's been 8
I've been
years?
sober almost 8 years. Shit.
Yeesh.
So from there, okay, there was the ABCs. Went to jail for a year. What was the next one?
Well, I went to jail for a year after I got my third DUI. So that was the first one. The car accident was the first one. The second one was I decided to start a company with a guy who owned a bar. So now I'm hanging out at a bar every single night,
Right.
Jesus.
calling myself running a company. So I got pretty problematic. So now I'm driving home sometimes from a bar at 3 a.m. Really a bar that's not closing down until we say it's closing down. So we sit in there sometimes till 6 a.m. just
Right.
drinking. And I just left the bar one night. I think I went the wrong way, turned out the lot and went the wrong way down the street. Got another DUI. And then while I was waiting to go to court for that one, I got another one.
Oh, no, you was wilding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was,
So even after you did a year and you got out, you were still drinking.
Yeah, so
That's
what
pretty much
happened?
what you just said.
Yeah, what happened was I went in. I was sending letters to the judge. I had people that I knew sending letters to the judge, and then she let me out on work release after like maybe 6 or 7 months. So I did my remaining time on work release, and so I was going to the studio every day from a facility,
Right.
you know, daily. So I was able to do projects shit like that. So when I finally was free, I say. After I was out maybe 2 months, I started back drinking again. So.
But of course, I doubt it's because, liquor just tastes so good. It's something inside that you had to deal with. Now, I've heard in a couple of interviews and from yourself that you've been doing therapy. And that's been working out.
So far,
Apparently, yeah.
So far, yeah.
'Cause you're 5 years now.
Almost 8. I mean,
Almost
I started
8.
therapy. I started therapy pretty much simultaneous with sobriety.
Right.
So it's a means to get to know yourself.
Right.
I didn't know that I was drinking to get away from certain thoughts
Right.
because just growing up, you deal with traumatic things as a kid. You see traumatic things, and your way of dealing with them is just to suppress the feelings.
Right.
You basically just taking whatever it is and you just putting it somewhere. So you don't have to look at it, deal with it.
Usually because we're taught, like, as men,
Yeah.
we're not supposed to have these feelings. We're not supposed to, any type of weakness, you gotta kind of like bury it. Any type of emotion.
Boys don't cry.
Yeah, boys don't cry. Men cry in the dark. That type of stuff. You hear that enough, you start to feel like I'm wrong for not being okay with what's going on.
And two, we're not a part of families that have been equipped with the knowledge of how to communicate.
Right.
Usually our fathers, our mothers are products of a particular cycle that makes it to where there are particular kinds of parents based off strictly what they know.
Ass
And they're
whoopings.
just passing it down. It's just cycle,
Right.
cycle after cycle. So, it's just learned behavior. You
Usually
know,
got beaten or something like that. Go to, you know what I mean? I know that's how I was raised.
I know my dad and my mom's generation, that generation, I know they were completely cool. Their parents, my grandparents, were completely cool with the neighbors whooping them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that was like a thing where that was just
thing.
okay.
Yeah, everybody
you know
just
what I mean?
whoop.
Yeah.
Everybody whooping.
That generation
Not
before,
right
like
now.
my grandparents, they like all from Alabama. They all
Get it
South
with your own
South
kids,
people,
man.
and that's
Yeah.
like a big thing. It was like a big thing.
My mom's West Indian, so you already
Yeah,
know.
I'm Haitian, so it's, get your ass whooped. That's a
I
natural
just get
remedy.
I just get my
Yeah.
school, bro.
Cable cords,
You don't know the answer?
broomsticks, name it, man. You know what I mean?
So this was there was something in here. There was you were suppressing.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with it. I think I'm wired like an addict. I realized that like my first addiction was either chewing gum or hot sauce, one or the other. They used to put hot sauce on my thumb when I was a little kid because I used to suck my thumb as a little
Okay,
kid. They
yeah.
used to put hot sauce on it to make me stop.
I know that method. I knew that. Like my sister used to do the same thing, and they used to.
You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I know about it, but apparently you just kept doing it.
I love to be, bro.
He says delicious.
I love it. It's hot.
Give me some fried chicken with that, and I'm good to go.
The Book of Ryan, you got the song called Cocaine.
Yeah.
And you kind of talk about your pops and his habit and things like that. Do you think that kind of was like something that was passed on to you or something like that? Like his addiction in a sense? And you grew to have even though it wasn't the same thing, but you have your own addiction?
Yeah, it's a little difficult for me to be able to say that it happened exactly like that.
I got you.
Because,
And that song was dope too.
Yeah, thank you,
You was
man.
singing on that, had the melody.
All that.
I think I would have to be a little bit more educated in that to be able to say that was exactly it. But I do feel like, and this is what my dad told me. Let's just put it like this. My dad told me, he said, you come from a long line of alcoholics and drug users.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before I got into the business, he just told me, look, man, stay away from that. You're not going to be able to do it like your friends can. And, it resonated at that moment, you know what I mean? Because up until that point, the thing that kept me from drinking, because all my friends was, number one, I was an athlete. I played basketball. And number two, my big brother used to come in the crib drunk all the time.
Yeah.
And it always caused problems in the house. Like he would come in late, drunk as fuck. Him and my dad be fighting, arguing. So me and my little bro Vish used to look at him and we used to be like, man, I ain't drinking.
Yeah.
This crazy.
Because of what you saw.
Yeah.
So then you got older and you were like,
yeah, and it was like even prior to getting into the business, me not drinking was always that thing that I held on to. Like, man, I don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an athlete.
you took pride in it.
Took pride in it, yeah. I took pride in that shit. So, when I ended up at Dr. Dre house and he asked me if I wanted to drink, the only reason why I said yes was because I didn't want to say no.
Right.
It was Dr. Dre, bro.
He says
I mean,
Dre.
I know you
It
get
was
it.
Dr. Dre.
I know you get it, but
yeah,
it
was like,
it's
Dr. Dre?
It's
I'm gonna
just-
take
okay.
with the homie.
I'll do it.
Here's the problem.
Good thing you say you want to try this crack.
Here's the problem
Really in
with,
trouble.
with that kind of thinking. Like, just thinking you have to do as the Romans do. Like, people that are a little more seasoned than you coming into the business, if they see that you're like that, then what they'll do is if they want you to say yes to something, then they'll just keep putting you in the situation where they can just give you liquor,
Right.
keep you fucked up so they can get things from you. You know what I mean? You fuck around and go to 3 parties, you don't got no publishing left.
So just sign this right
You just
here.
you gotta.
When did I sign this? I don't remember. What?
I gave away everything?
So you gotta, it's good to stand for something in any walk of life. You know,
Right.
like in any business, it's good to have, it's good to draw those lines and set boundaries that people can't cross no matter what.
Yeah.
Because your integrity is more important than anything.
Integrity.
It's more important than anything.
But before we can get to that point, I want to stress the importance of what therapy did for you.
It helped me. I learned a lot about myself, things that I did not know. I didn't know that I had high levels of anxiety. I thought I was just getting nervous in certain situations. I also learned that when I'm feeling like that, like if I'm in a basketball game and I'm super nervous, I'm not good. I can't do anything while I'm nervous.
Right.
And that includes performing, rapping, whatever.
Anything.
Right.
So a shot real quick, just take the edge off.
Right.
Quick. You know what I mean? And what you're doing when you do that is you're training yourself to think
Right.
you can't do things
Without that.
without drinking.
So what are like some alternatives that you might have came up with where if you are nervous, instead of going to that shot, what is something that you might go to
You mean now?
now? Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's how therapy helped me. So once you're able to identify with these things, with these problems, now that you know what to look for, it helps curve it because you identify with it, you know what it is. So now in certain situations where I would have high levels of anxiety, I don't have them because I understand what the feeling is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't need anything. I don't
Just
need
say,
anything.
I'm anxious.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just,
Just
I
deep breathe?
don't even really get anxious because it's just, I'm more self-aware.
Right.
It just works that way. You know what I mean? And
Eventually, you kind of find yourself outside of that cycle.
yeah. And then too, I also learned that the more you learn about yourself, the better you become. You can correct things. You can correct the little nuances, the little characteristics like the shit that you, being a better father, little things that you can do to be a better father, little things that you can do to be a better husband.
Right.
Communication skills, being able to talk to people in a way where now you're able to find a resolution instead of always being in the gray area with people.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it makes you a better artist. With
That
More truthful.
with that song Cocaine, did you ever have a conversation with your pops after you had it and then it went like it did what it did and things like that?
Not about the song per se, not about the song. But
Did he feel sometimes like, yo, because I know as an artist you talk about different people, different scenarios or whatever, but I know that one was a real strong.
Well, I learned a lot about myself as it pertains to being an artist through that situation. I learned that we don't always think about the way, even though it's my truth that I'm telling, I didn't take into consideration other people's involvement in my truth and the way that they would perceive it. Like some people, if their name is involved in your truth that you're telling, they feel like you're airing their shit out. And to go even deeper than that, the way that they remember it and the way that you remember
It's like
it's never the same.
Exactly.
That's real.
Never the same.
It's better to keep those things a private conversation before it goes public.
Well, it's more than 2 ways to skin a cat.
Right.
Communication is an amazing thing because
Yeah.
I think in that situation I needed to get that out, so that was gonna happen regardless. But I could have sat him down and talked to him and let him know it was coming because a lot of times, if you feel taken off guard by something, you don't allow yourself to process it the way it was intended for the shooter. The shooter intended for it to hit the target. You won't allow yourself to process it because you feel disrespected. So
Why would you tell the world about this about me?
Yeah, with my dad, we got a great relationship. He never wants to get in the way of what I do as an artist. So he made comments to my mom.
Of course, they floated right back to you.
About me?
And so I just heard a few comments in passing.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed to hear. I know my dad. You know what I mean? So and that's why the song on my new album, Hero. That's why.
Yeah,
I made
Hero.
That's why I made
the
this
last
song.
track.
That's what's up.
It's like and it's just evolution. You know what I mean? And now I know next time, either I won't say something, or I'll just take that into consideration. And not just with my dad, anybody.
Yeah. The reason why I wanted to kind of like find out where therapy brought you to? Because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are walking around undiagnosed or have issues and keep running into the same wall and don't know why.
Right.
And I took on a life coach about 2 years ago when we recently went to the Fox thing. And there was this lady standing there, and they're probably like, oh, who is this lady? Why is she here? You know, the family, and that was my life coach. And she kind of helped me through a real dark period of my life where it wasn't just alcohol, it was sex, it was just a lot, dealing with depression and finding ways to kind of rebuild my confidence through the wrong things. And if not for her, I don't know where I would be.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? So I wanted to stress, like, the success that you got from therapy, the success that I got from therapy, I really wouldn't be doing this right now if not for her. Shout out to Shaw.
Yo, your life coach is bad, by the way. She was popping. It's easy to, listen to something like that. I'd be like, whatever okay, I'm gonna stop drinking them all.
No, but it's not easy when your issue is like taking down females to kind of rebuild yourself. You dig what I'm saying? Like, so.
Nah, she's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah,
she's a beautiful woman.
It's the same. It's the same.
Fit. You kind of threw me off with the anyway.
She's pretty.
It's the same as coming into the game.
It's an observation.
And thinking that getting rich and famous is gonna fix everything.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Definitely not.
It never. You just never. It's just a chase.
Right.
It's just a chase. And like being an artist, the success is a journey. Of course, everybody know that. That's no destination. That's just a journey that you're on.
Right.
It's a very subjective journey. But the art is a destination. It's a place. It's a place that you got to get to.
Right.
It's the truthful place. You get to that place, you become self-aware, then you start to realize what success means to you, what you need to be happy. And most of the time, people find out that it's never money.
It's not a dollar amount.
Money.
It's never none of that.
But when you're broke, that's the goal.
Because that's
because that's what you're
what's
taught.
being marketed to.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
When you don't have it and you're in that one-bedroom apartment, or you're doing this and you're going to job and all that, it feels like that's the financial security is what I need to feel free.
The message I want to get out to everybody is, listen, there's nothing wrong with therapy. I don't care how you grew up. I don't care who you grew up around. I don't care how you look at it and you think, oh, well, I don't need it. It's good for everybody.
I recommend it for anybody. I don't care if you're an addict, you're not an addict. If you're a person with a brain and a heart, then I recommend it. Because it's never, knowledge of self can never be a bad thing. Learning about yourself can never be a bad thing.
And
why people go through therapy?
It's an amenity. Right. It's an amenity that they have growing up that's presented to them at a young age.
Right.
So they have a different way of looking at it than we do.
But the subconscious mind is so, the depth of it.
Especially as an artist.
Yeah. The things that are in your head and causing you to do stuff unconsciously that you don't even realize every day is deep. And the only way you can, well, not the only way, but one of the ways that you can kind of figure your own self out is through therapy. Now, you mentioned the art. I want to get to this. Why haven't we ever heard a Royce the 5'9" and Nas collaboration? You and Nas. Why haven't we ever seen that?
That would be so
collaboration.
Fire. That would be fire.
That's like a no-brainer, right? Like
now, once you said it, it's like, yeah.
Especially back in the day,
Jesus.
we were working with Primo.
Well, listen, it ain't because of me.
Okay.
I mean, I tried a couple times, and you know how it is with artistry, man. It's like you got to come across each other at the right time.
Right time.
Timing is everything. Nas dropped a classic when I was still in high school. He changed the world when I was in high school.
Right.
Now, when I got into the game, he was already a superstar.
Right.
By the time I got on his radar to a point where he knew I existed and he respected what I was doing, he was going up and down, up and down. Okay. Inspired, not inspired. Inspired, not inspired. Now, he's making investments. He's doing other things.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to get him before we lose him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be fire though.
But it's just about catching him at a time where he's doing features, where he feels like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. If I had more of a personal relationship with him, I would be able to better answer that.
Right.
every time I see him, it's love. You know what I'm saying? But I
Right.
can't. You know, it's the same with Jay-Z. I ain't never worked with Jay-Z. You don't think I want to work with Jay-Z?
But-
Jay-Z, Nas.
But is it like is there pressure behind that question where you're like, do I ask him?
It's difficult for me to ask anybody for
Why?
anything. I mean, you know, man, I just don't.
Communication is the key, man.
Yeah, man, you know, you could give advice, nigga. That don't mean you can advice. Yeah, but I'm you know, man, I don't like to bother people, you know, like, and I that's one of the things I'm working on, you know what I mean? I'm working on that part of the artistry. You know, I think I got the in the studio part down.
Right.
But just as it pertains to collaborating, I've become better at that since I've been in Slaughterhouse. Before we did Slaughterhouse, I hated collaborating. I didn't realize how much it would help me.
Right.
So when I got in the group with them, I realized I ain't as good as I thought I was.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You
You got to work in the studio every day with 3 killers. Yeah,
Crooked
you gonna
Eye,
realize
Joe Buttons, Joel Ortiz.
it puts things in perspective for you.
Right. Did you, while you guys were working together, was it I know I had the best verse on this one. Were there bragging rights, or was it all about the song?
It was both. It was a fun mixture of both.
Right.
You know, well, for me it was. I can only speak for me. But
who was it?
Well, I got to a point where I realized that it was impossible for me to have the best verse every time.
Mm-hmm.
So once I became cool with that.
Who
was the killer every time though? Who was that guy that you like?
That you had to. Who was the guy you didn't
Was
want
it
to go
Crooked?
after?
Was it?
Crooked is
I feel like it was Crooked.
Yeah, Crooked.
Crooked is the killer of the crew.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
You know, so a part of being, I got a lot of producer qualities. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that was kind of like my role. My role was kind of like to see the song through, and I actually used to like kind of setting things up to where Crooked can come in and just boom. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and he's kind of like, he's not just a punchline rapper, but one of the things that he's mastered is the art of punchline rap. Crooked can punch every line if he feel like it. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's necessary. But then, you know, we also have introspective songs and shit like that where, you know, it was gonna be impossible to top Joe. You know, he gonna come last with a 64-bar verse, untoppable verse. You know what I'm saying? So and then, you know, just when you think, you know, he does that, Crooked does that, here come Joel out of nowhere. Shutting everybody up. And I think that's what people loved about the group, just the dynamic and not being able to predict everything like that. You know
Like
what I mean?
who was gonna be the
People
best?
And what
have
was-
favorites at different times.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
What was dope about your group was it was at a time where everybody felt like, damn, lyricism is dying, man. Like, ain't nobody trying to really rap no more.
Perfect time.
So when y'all came in, it was like, thank God. The Eminem brought 4 guys who could rap and put them together. And that was just another dope thing.
And to me, my fault, but Eminem never did like a joint venture with anybody.
Right.
Royce. And I'm just like,
Yeah, and I was gonna ask that
Yeah,
too.
you guys had
Are
a-
you the person in the world that got the most songs with Eminem ever?
I would say so.
Yeah, because you guys.
All right, in the same breath, why haven't we ever seen an Eminem and Nas collaboration?
He produced on Stillmatic. He did Carry the Cross.
But you know, we talking about
Rapping.
yes.
Well, it's not because M didn't want to. I'll tell you that. I don't know.
It's probably the same situation.
No, but I'm not saying that. Come on, look, you started.
I gotta start. I want this to happen, bro.
Right.
I want this to happen.
Yeah.
Now, Nas, salute you, the general. You already know.
Why you
Godson?
Because I got you.
keep bringing up Nas like Nas been rapping lately?
No, you wanna know why?
ain't saying
Because I'm
Nas.
from Brooklyn, man. I never forgot.
He did a song with Lil Nas X.
He said,
So come on.
Eminem killed you on your own record.
My nigga, Nas ain't even been on Instagram, my man. Where you been, my man?
I know, but no, I'm just saying, I'm from Brooklyn. That ether
He's
thing,
from
like,
Brooklyn.
Nas posts
We took a
3
hit.
pictures on Instagram per year where he looking all nice and shit,
right.
Birthday,
looking like he just enjoying
Christmas and
life.
Thanksgiving. You got
It
it.
don't even look like he thinking about the
See,
rapping.
okay, all right, cool. He's enjoying life. That's what you're saying?
I mean, I'm just saying it's a bad sign for us.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? It don't.
It don't mean like
He don't
he's-
look like he about to give us an album no time soon. I don't
Right.
know, man.
But you never know.
I mean, I hope so.
All right.
Just said Big Sean said about
Yeah, Big Sean said he.
Okay.
What did
Yeah.
you think about the last project he put out?
Did Nas put out?
Nasir?
The one that Kanye produced?
That's it.
I don't think I'm a fair judge. Only because I'm a Nas stan, you know, and then like it's very difficult for me to judge his albums when Illmatic exists.
He had the Lost Tape actually.
It was written exists, which I feel like it was written as a better album than Illmatic. Who want to argue?
Right.
I'll tell you this: if you and Nas were to ever get on the track, Primo, please produce that. Where you at?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
That's a fact.
That'll be fine. Now back to the Slaughterhouse situation. What happened? What was the downfall? What was the why isn't this? It's still happening. And you still have a healthy relationship with Joe, true?
Of course.
What happened? Because he came on the show.
I seen it.
And kind of voiced what his reason was. Do you agree with him?
Not all of it.
Not all of it.
Not all of it. I mean, perspective, you know. He's telling you, he's speaking to you from his perspective. From where I'm sitting, I won't let anybody just put everything on Joe. It wasn't just all on Joe. We all played our part, you know, whether it was purposely or not, you know what I mean? Like, there were certain times that we got on the phone and we spoke about going back in the studio, and I wasn't available. I wasn't able to. I was doing Prime. I was doing something. And I mean, it's kind of difficult when you get on the line with some guys that you did 7 years straight with, and then it's like, well, I can't get in there now. Can you wait until such and such day, and can we reconvene then?
Right.
That's not an easy pill to swallow, you know. And then what happens is, when we reconvene, somebody else is busy, and then somebody else. Very difficult to get 4 people, you know, on the same page, and just working in that way, you know. And then there were small label issues, you know. One person may have an issue with something with the label, or one person may have an issue with this or that. And
was it just Joe?
Nah, I mean, no, it wasn't just Joe.
Because
he talking about what, having issues?
He said his words exactly was, another Slaughterhouse project cannot happen with him being involved until you guys get away from Shady.
Yeah, but I know when you make a statement like that, it would imply
that it was Shady.
It would imply that we're like, you know, like, Joe, Shady Records, Joe. You know what I mean? It's not like that.
It's not that.
It's just Joe has his way of voicing things, you know.
Right.
There wasn't always an issue between Joe and Shady. The issue with Joe and Shady now is just the way that he voiced his opinion about Marshall's album. Marshall didn't like that.
Right.
It wasn't because he had an opinion about Marshall's album. It was the way he publicly voiced it. I actually had a problem with that too.
Right.
But me and Joe spoke about it, and you know, we spoke about how we both felt about it, and it was like not a heated discussion, but it was an active discussion.
Yeah. Like, why would you?
Yeah, we actively was telling each other how we felt.
Right.
I wasn't like checking him or nothing, and he wasn't like checking me. It was just like, yo, blah, 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 blah. And then the end of the discussion was he apologized to me because of the way that I was made to feel. And I accepted his apology. It was no longer an issue between me and him.
Was there an apology for M?
No. So that's one of the things that's in the air, right? So that's just one thing. It's not the reason. It's just one thing.
But what do you think triggered Joe to react to the album the way he did so publicly? Like, what was the animosity, or if there was?
He doesn't feel like he spoke with any animosity. And see, that's the thing.
Just his opinion.
He doesn't feel like he spoke with animosity, but it was taken, and I'm not even sure if it was taken that way because anybody thought that it was coming from a place of animosity.
Right.
It was just taken as disrespect, you know, and a lot of other words got thrown in there that he didn't agree with.
Right.
So what happens is he has a platform where he's saying how he feels about it, and then, you know, M uses his platform, which is his albums, to speak about how he feels about it.
Right.
And, you know, Slaughterhouse becomes collateral damage.
Apparently, like, you guys had a record on the album.
Anything can be worked out, but it's not just that. There are other things. There were things behind the scenes going on that brought certain vibes into the studio as well.
Right.
two people had some disagreements and some business dealings separate. They had some disagreements. I'm not gonna say who those two people were.
Right.
And that caused a little something. And then everybody in the group decided to go do separate albums. Like Joe did an album with A-Rap Music, Joel did one with Ill Mind, Crook did one with Static Selector. That ate a whole year up right there.
Right.
And then Just Blaze came into the fold. He was the executive producer. Then he had some issues behind the scenes with some publishing issues that he was working out with the lawyer. That ate us some time. It wasn't just one thing. It was a lot of things, but it wasn't. We didn't come away from it. Nobody came away from it bitter at anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody in the group is still cool.
And then solo wise, you're doing real good musically. Like you've been dropping some fire after the group, like just by yourself.
Thank you.
Slaughterhouse is still signed to Shady.
Yes, as a group, yes.
Right. So Joe's still a part of that.
Yeah.
He hasn't been released.
How could he be released as what?
But is that why
We're signed as a
doesn't-
group. We're not signed as solo members. So it's like
Right.
he can do whatever he wants as Joe.
Is that why he
Okay.
says like he won't do a project until you're
So
off
everybody's
of, so
away.
everybody's off of Shady?
Yeah, he just wants to get a release from Shady as the group.
Right.
He wants to get a release from Shady because he doesn't want to release it through them. But he's basically saying he'll still play ball. You know, ownership is a big thing to Joe right now. So he's evolving. He's evolving, you know, just in terms of understanding the importance of equity. He looks at the brand as something we built, which we did. You know what I mean? So
Do you agree with him to a certain degree?
what part?
Ownership.
Ownership and you guys doing a project together without a major label involved.
Well, we do own it. We do own it. The thing is, we got into an agreement. We're not necessarily in breach, but it's something that we just need to look at. It's something we need to look at. But I do agree with him in terms of just ownership in general. Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? And it's not a situation where we gave the group to somebody. You know what I mean? We're just actively in the contract where we didn't fulfill the agreement at that time, and it's just something that we need to talk about. The label just happens to be some people I have a personal relationship with, so
yeah.
it's not problematic like that. It's not something that can't be worked out, even if it's taking the brand somewhere else and doing it somewhere else. The problem is, if we're gonna go through doing all of that, it needs to be understood that we're actually gonna do the album. You know what I mean?
Like it's gonna get
If
done.
we're not gonna do the album,
then why go
you know,
do it?
like I don't even want to have conversations unless, you know, I know that everybody's down to rap.
Yeah.
And I don't want to force anybody to rap, man.
Right.
Joe's having a good time doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Crook is
Crook's
super
Corner.
successful.
Yo,
Yeah.
Shout out to Crook's Corner, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
I
Crook's
caught the
Corner.
episode.
Yeah,
with
Eminem
M.
shouted out the
He
show.
shouted out the show. Salute,
He's
salute.
super
That was
successful.
dope.
You should try and get him on the show.
Yeah.
He's super successful
Yeah, definitely.
at what he's doing. Joel Ortiz just got married. He thin. He looking like you. He looking like he looking like he been eating tilapia with
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
You know what I'm
do your
saying?
thing, guy. Brooklyn,
I mean, I'm just happy where everybody is, where we are as men. You know what I mean? I'm
right.
happy about that first. I'm happy everybody's healthy, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Nobody's like hurting for anything. There's no problems. You know what I mean? So everybody's cool. Everybody's cool with each other.
Right.
If these decide they want to get in there and rap, I was just saying this earlier, I'll do an album for free with them because we have fun doing it.
Fire.
You know what I mean? Like
Free.
I'm saying like I'll do an album and not release it with them because we have fun doing the album.
Yeah,
You know?
you did. But okay,
Fun for the fans.
I know.
Yeah, music, man.
I saw a lot of things like while you guys were working on the albums. It just seemed like you guys were having so much fun.
We were.
Whenever there were issues, being that you have the closest relationship to M, was everybody looking at you like, Royce, go talk to him, bro. Go.
There was never
Don't
any
say
issues with M though.
It was just
They say Paul. Is that true?
What's that?
That Joe Buttons and Paul don't get along?
Well, I mean, Joe said some things recently about Paul, but I mean, it never was that feeling wasn't never in the air when we were working on the project. You know,
Right.
Paul would come around, everything was cool. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like, who knows what's transpired from then to now? You know what I mean? Like, certainly nothing has happened in the studio. You know what I'm saying? Like, and whenever they were around M, we had fun.
Right.
We had fun in those studio sessions. Like when we recorded in Detroit up at M Studio, we had a great time.
okay. Now, M and Joe's beef. Joe made some comments about his album. It came off a little harsh. Who is the proofreader or the guy that? Do you have guys that have that type of relationship where you can be like, I don't know about that one?
To M?
Yeah.
What you mean? I don't know about it.
Like, okay.
Who could criticize Eminem?
Yeah. Do you guys like critique each other?
Oh, you mean like when he does something?
Yeah. Are you sitting in the studio?
You saying like, for example, if he makes
like,
some music I don't like,
right?
would I say something?
And likewise, like you got this new project out. Do you guys sit down and listen to it together?
At Slaughterhouse?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was the process. Each song that we're doing, you kind of go along with the flow, and then we all sit down. I believe the last album we wrote everything down that everybody was feeling on like a big board, and everybody just made their own list, and we just kind of like met each other halfway with the list. Now with the Slaughterhouse album that came out on Shady, Marshall picked those songs because he was mixing them, so we just kind of trusted his judgment on that.
Right.
With the first album, it kind of was like we all just picked our songs, and then the last album that we were working on that didn't come out, it was the same thing. We all just collectively just wrote a list.
What about solo projects?
It's different ones are different for me. My last album was, Book of Ryan. It was personal. I kind of knew exactly what I wanted that one to be. So, and that's another thing too, man. I think with artistry, man, it's better to just know. It's better to know what you want to do
By yourself.
Yeah, because nobody could really hand your truth back to you and tell you, no, that wasn't right.
But
what I mean?
Book of Ryan, we're talking about a personal project.
Yeah.
So that's kind of hard to send somebody like, hey, what do you think about my life? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see, so the key is to make it to where no matter what you're doing, it's your truth.
Right.
No matter what it is.
Right.
And I think that just feels better when you're standing at the roulette table, because that's basically what it is. When you release something, you never know. You never know how people are gonna react to it, especially when you're somebody like me, who I decided a long time ago that I'm not gonna be an employee of the people. I don't work for the people. You know, like it's not Burger King,
Right,
You can't have it your way.
Right.
I kind of just splash paint on the canvas and just hang it up, and you're more than welcome to come check it out.
Check it out, yeah.
Or not.
Right.
But at least I was able to get these thoughts out, and I'm learning myself through the art, and I'm expressing it. It's a form of expression. It's a coping mechanism, I feel better after I do it. And that's why I was telling my brother right here earlier, it's like the fulfillment for me comes in completion. When I complete projects, it's pretty much when the celebration is for me. In my mind, I'm like, woo, I got that done. You know what I mean? And I feel like I accomplished something. I feel like I got a purpose, and I served that purpose. I put all of my work into it. I didn't cut no corners. You know what I mean? Like I gave it all my integrity. I gave it all my heart. You know what I mean? I'm not misleading people in any sort of way. This is gonna do good. It's gonna do good for people. No matter how many people that it touches, that's the fulfillment for me. So once I hand it to you, it's yours. It's not mine anymore.
But are there people in between you giving it to the public?
Yeah, I mean, I got.
Who are the people you trust to sit in the room and be like?
Yeah, I got friends.
What you think?
I run everything by Keno to get his opinion, see how he feels about it.
Right.
And I want him to like it. And some things he hasn't liked in the past, I scrap. Some things I just told him he don't know what the he's talking about.
Yeah, I feel like we go through that too in bars sometimes.
Yeah.
Like we might run something by somebody, and they might be like, this is fire. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Or we might scrap it. You know what I mean? Depends on.
Usually when somebody tell me they don't
how
like a
long.
bar, they just don't get it.
One thing we got to remember too, man, is like people, and I'm not talking about our people, but I'm talking about the people out there. The most important thing for them is to fit in. A lot of people don't know what they like. A lot of people don't know what they like, and sometimes we got to remember it's our job
to tell them
what they like.
Yeah, real talk.
You know what I mean? Because people didn't think they were gonna like Griselda. I did an interview with the Breakfast Club, and I talked to them about Griselda in 2015. They looked at me like, what?
Right.
Charlamagne's exact words was, nobody want to sit and listen about songs about killing niggas all day. I was like, all right, cool.
Right.
Now he on there like this. Refreshing.
We love Griselda.
Yeah.
Nah, Griselda.
It's a
You
certain-
gonna call them on that tomorrow?
Of course I am.
Yeah.
We got our hands on fingers on the pulse of this. in a different kind of way.
Gotcha.
Right.
And we always got to remember that. And that falls under the same category as placing value on yourself. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, back to that, because, you know, I was listening to you, a lot of things you said stuck out. Like when you was talking about value and like what would be your advice, right, to because you said us, you know, people in the industry, people in battle rap, they're just consistently getting undervalued. And then we were talking about this before with like leagues, like sometimes people just feel like they're not in a position to say, hey, I'm valuable, I'm not gonna do this, right? What is your advice to artists or just anyone that kind of feels in that place? What are like 3 things you would say?
'Cause you're talking to
Would you
millions of people
Yeah.
when you answer that. Millions.
Well, I mean, all success starts here. You know, it's in the mind first. So if you allow yourself to think that, then that's what you'll be. You know what I mean? What are 3 ways that you can build your confidence? I mean, because that's the problem. You're not confident enough. You're not being confident. You're not allowing yourself to be of the value that you think you should be. And they kind of put you in that place because they're always going to undervalue you, so they don't have to pay you as much.
Right.
You allow them to or you don't. You know, I mean, you know your options.
Correct.
I always use this as an example. You remember when Monique went public and she said she wanted us to boycott Netflix?
Yeah.
Right.
And they interviewed Netflix and they were just like, yo, it's nothing personal. You're like, we just only do deals based off numbers. We look at the numbers and we base what we're gonna give that person, base it off what numbers they're doing. And she just haven't had the numbers recently to cover what she's asking for.
Right.
And then what did Dave Chappelle do when he came back from Africa?
Got the Netflix deal.
Came back and proved that was a lie.
Yeah.
He didn't have any numbers.
He didn't have any numbers.
He got 60 million for 2 shows.
And how did he get that?
Well, but nah, you gotta consider like his show was like the best show before it ended.
I guess they
he
figured
left hot.
Well, they predicted that he would probably
But
be
but it still
massive.
proves the point that he had no recent numbers to show what his value
Let's
would
look
be.
at it like this. If I'm Netflix, right? And if there's ever a time where I could shoot Dave Chappelle low, that would have been the time.
Right.
Did he allow them to do that?
No.
That would have been the perfect time to be like, yeah, well, we only can give you 30, man, because you ain't really did the numbers.
Yeah.
You could have tried that shit.
Yeah.
You'd have been watching it on Hulu.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's
yeah,
real.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. But that's what she tried to do, right? She tried to say, no, I'm worth more. Yeah, I'm not gonna have this, and kind of stepped out. But it hasn't really done her any good.
But the fight ain't over.
Well, how do you know it hasn't done her any good?
Based on perspective, right?
She's learned a lot from that.
Yeah, I'd say so.
She took valuable lessons from that, and sometimes that's what it takes. You know what I mean? Like there's no formula. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But she took the first step, and that's believing you first.
Right.
You know, and then she just got to figure out her way. You know what I mean? Because I guarantee you, Dave Chappelle went in there and said, "Yo, this is what it's gonna be. Take it or leave it. I'm gonna put it to you in a nicer way, but hey."
I'm here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Dave Chappelle, I do feel like he kind of had the leverage to say that.
Why?
Like it's kind of like you were doing extremely well, like to the point where people were like, "No, where are you going?" Like,
So is Monique.
Please. I think at that time, not as much.
Not at that time, but Dave Chappelle wasn't doing anything at that time.
Right.
I don't want.
They didn't even know if he was still funny.
The reason why I'm saying that is because Netflix said they only do deals based off numbers.
So basically, bullshit.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, because that was not true, obviously. Right.
Yeah. What does leverage have to do with anything if they're saying they only do deals based off of numbers?
Because I know
Not
it was
even about leverage at that
comparing
point,
it to
right? Just
Amy
basing everything on numbers.
Schumer at the time had got like a crazy amount of money for Netflix, and they weren't trying to match it. And then Steve Harvey kind of played a part in it, right? I'm not exactly sure what he said.
When she went on the show?
Yeah.
She said you gotta play the game.
Correct. He was trying to say basically.
Audience, like you did the Radio City thing a whole week of Radio City.
He's basically doing whatever he wants to do, and that's that's just what it is, and that it shows that they pay attention to energy as well.
Yes.
You know, like as an investor, you're not gonna let that kind of opportunity pass, no matter what the numbers are.
Correct.
So if that's the case, then to put it out there that it's all about numbers is just a way to keep you in check.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we just need to understand as artists that we are more in control than we think we are, and it starts here.
Last 5 minutes, I was gonna say battle rap. What's your thoughts on the current level of battle rap? You hosted Total Slaughter, everything like that. What's your thoughts about battle rap and just that form of entertainment? Them keeping
You jumping in the ring, Royce?
alive and everything like
Jumping
that.
in the ring, Royce?
He goes into something
What's going
else.
on, man?
What's up,
What's going
Royce?
on?
How you
I was
feeling
there,
battle rap? You jumping in the
I
ring?
was there.
What's going on?
That three-way battle at SOBs
Okay. You was at that?
years ago. I was there.
Okay,
And-
first of all, I own Total Slaughter. Let's get that straight.
Ooh, get it right.
He ain't hosting.
Wait a minute.
I wasn't just a
That
host.
means you was cutting the checks. So
I wasn't. Listen. All I'm saying is put some respect on my name in this barbershop. I'm just playing, but yeah. I thought about jumping in the ring before. Around that time, I was thinking about it more
Versus
so
who?
than I think about it now. I never thought about nobody.
He's telling the truth, folks.
Come on,
Listen,
man.
contrary to popular belief, man, I got a lot of respect for y'all, man.
I dig it. I dig it. But,
Yeah, I'm not one of
but it
those
wasn't
guys.
somebody that you was like, maybe this person.
I mean, any of y'all can get it, but I still got respect for y'all, though, man.
Let's go.
I still got a lot of respect for y'all, though, brother.
Is there a time frame on when we can get it?
Brother, no. Listen. First of all, it's an honor and a privilege to be here.
Yes, always.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got nothing but respect for y'all. I'm not one of these guys who's like established and think that it's just a thing that I'm just gonna go wipe everybody out.
Okay.
I would never take any of y'all for granted, not just y'all top tier niggas, but any of y'all, because I understand that it's a different skill set. I understand that it's something that I would need to spend a lot of time getting sharp because it's a muscle that's not necessarily in shape at the moment.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if I have the kind of time to take away from other things to prep myself to get in there, because I can't get in there and lose, because that wouldn't be good for me.
Right.
That
At least
was
you're
not at all.
honest
So it's
about
like,
it.
in terms of like building a brand,
Yeah.
what's the sense of doing it if I'm just gonna go in there and lose?
Now here's my question. From your standpoint, would you be open to having just like 2 or 3 top tier battle rappers just sit with you for a month
To do
and
what?
just kind of like coach you into what it is today? You know what I'm saying? In a way that I don't think Michael
you out.
Jordan,
All right,
well,
I'll help you out.
not necessarily
I'll
Michael
help you
Jordan.
out. I got you.
I don't think I need help.
No, I'm fucking.
No, I mean,
I don't think you need help.
hold on.
Don't get
I
beside
don't
yourself,
think
man.
you
We
need
got 40
Hold
cal
on.
coming back.
Hold on.
Versus Ill Will.
We done seen Cassidy come.
listen.
I'm just saying the same way. Look.
Hey.
We do it
brother.
amongst ourselves.
Brother, let's have a
You feel what I'm saying?
Let's have a realistic conversation.
Let's
go.
have a realistic conversation.
All right. First of all,
Right.
no disrespect to anybody.
Right.
Do not compare me to anybody.
Okay.
I like that.
I don't give a. Don't compare me
wanna
to
hear
anybody.
that. He don't want to hear that.
That's
All right. That's first of all.
Right.
If I come, I'm coming for blood.
Right.
Good.
I ain't coming because I need a check. I ain't coming because I woke up feeling I'm coming. I'm gonna take it serious, and I'm taking
Right.
heads off.
But would you be comfortable with?
I
Top tiers around
wouldn't
you.
need that.
Matt feels like
You the one I'm battling when I come in.
I agree with you. And you ain't gonna have no top tiers around you. I guarantee you battle me. They're gonna be calling you up and like, oh, well, they're just, man, let me tell you something, man. Look, I'm coming to your crib right now, bro.
That would be great.
Telling you, bro.
Math would love to just end my career too.
No, honestly.
Have me out there looking crazy.
No, I would love to get to the point where we're all comfortable with creating, because this, in the same way that you create this piece of art, this masterpiece called an album. I feel like the amount of writing you put into your albums, we put into battles.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we can come to a point where we can merge these worlds,
We can.
even if we have to just create it together, I feel like it would just be the greatest thing we ever saw.
I think you taking a step by doing this show. I think that brings us closer, because when Bishop hit me and asked me what I thought about doing the show, the reason why I was so quick to be like, hell yeah, it's because how much I respect you as a lyricist.
Appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
And I feel like I can't not do Mav Show. That's not gonna look right. You know what I mean? And I think we need to stay cognizant of that.
Right.
Making sure that we always look out for each other and we don't look down at each other like, oh, I'm here, he's there.
Right.
This show is incredible. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna continue to grow. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just like you woke up one day and you decided you were gonna do this, the next idea, all it's doing is letting you know that your ideas, as long as you can visualize them up, you can actualize them because you already got the platform, you already got a fan base.
Right.
Now people seeing you different, and because you've been speaking to a life coach, you project different.
Right.
And it's all showing. I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, sir.
Royce, thank you, man. We appreciate you.
Love and respect.
Much love. Go get the album, everybody.
Go
Y'all
get
ready?
the album. Allegory is out right now. Go get all of them. Go get all of them. I'll tell you
Book
what.
of Ryan.
If this goes double platinum, will you battle?
No. No, battle who though? Not you.
Oh, anybody. Anybody. I just feel like it's time for us to merge these worlds. You look at the Philippines. You look at Russia. Their top artists drop albums, battle. They break dance. They do all types of stuff. Like it's
Good shit.
all across the board. We are the culture. You feel what I'm saying? It's not a separation in the culture.
I can help facilitate it. I may not necessarily be the person that's gonna jump in the ring,
Right.
but I can help facilitate it. I mean, we were kind of headed that direction with Total Slaughter a little bit.
Right. But Total Slaughter was just too fancy, I feel like.
Well, sometimes, you
Yeah.
don't get things right the first time.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and
but it was
we ran into a lot of apprehension from like other leagues because they felt like that they should have been a part of it in certain ways.
Right.
And just getting our feet wet in that field let us know that certain things that we did may have came off as disrespectful without intending it for it to be that way. So, you know,
Right.
if we were to do something like that again, we have a better understanding.
Fire.
Who's your own top 5 battle rappers?
Of all time?
Yep.
Well, I'm an old soul, so I got to go with Lux.
Lux.
I like Tay-Rock, man.
Yeah.
Tay-Rock.
Tay-Rock is a monster.
Yeah.
I like Tay-Rock, you. And I'm
Hey,
not just saying
I
that
made the
because you're
list.
here.
Made the list.
Let me see, Tay-Rock. Yeah. Clips. I like Clips.
Charlie.
I didn't like that shit the shit he did on the Nick Cannon song. That was terrible.
Yeah, how did you feel about that? Like, what was the...
Huh?
What were you guys like, when you heard about it, you were like, yo, they dropped a diss record, Hitman and Charlie is on it.
Nah.
Let's go check
They
this
was
out.
hoping Total Slaughter came out with like a rebuttal. They was waiting for that.
I don't know, man. I'm just like, when I heard them niggas was on there, Hitman Holla, one of my favorites too. When I heard
Right.
they was on there, Conceited, all of them, when I heard they were on there, I just thought it would be better lyrically.
Right.
You know what I mean? I thought it was cool that Nick Cannon put them on there though. I thought that was dope.
Yeah.
That was a good
Right,
attempt
to
to give them a look.
Right. But
I
do you
felt
feel
what he
like they
was
kind of like tried to level it off for him?
I don't know.
To
I
make
don't know
him...
what they were thinking because I
Yeah.
don't really know them personally.
Right.
But just from the outside looking in, they should have just went hard. It was an opportunity because people was listening.
Right.
They should have went
That's
harder.
M, man.
Yeah, they should have went harder. M wouldn't have been offended.
Yeah.
They should have went harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's never going to be a response, is there? Ever.
Absolutely not.
So you think if M would have felt like it was phenomenal, that would have drove him more to reply, correct?
Of course.
Yeah. That's great.
Of course. It's just gladiators at the end of the day. It ain't nothing but another day at the office. It's nothing personal. Never personal.
Nice.
Nah, man.
Well,
episode 37.
Episode 37, I want to thank you
3,
Love and respect,
for
brother.
all the
Yay.
dedication that you've put into this art form and for pushing the envelope with lyricism. Because the way that you put it together expanded my mind when I was young.
Nice.
And that helped me to expand other minds. Thank you, sir.
My brother.
Let's get it, man. Appreciate you, King.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
I kick the fucking door off. Take the hinges with the door panel and the wall off. Bodies getting hauled off. Lips getting torn off. Leg him with the sword off. He looking like a walking dead zombie trying to crawl off.